Okay. Okay, so at this point, we've completed the two. Remember, I said on the first day that there are two meditation subjects are uppers and two are downers. Two sort of lift you up with joy and happiness and say piti and sukha. And then there are two of these meditation subjects are connected with the qualities that we call the bidda and viraga, that is like disenchantment with the world and dispassion. And so this evening we'll do very briefly, it really requires a much longer period. So this is going to be very much like a compressed instruction in the meditation, which is called asubha, which is what I translate the unattractiveness. And usually it comes in the phrase kaye asubha sanya, the perception of unattractiveness in regard to the body. And this is recommended as the antidote to sensual lust, particularly sexual lust. And so it's recommended highly by the Buddha for the monastics, and in the monasteries it's always taught or generally taught to the younger monks, sometimes in a somewhat ritualistic way so that it's not really taken so seriously. It's just taught as a list of things to contemplate. But in the meditation monasteries, it's practiced very seriously. And when I was in Sri Lanka, what I found is that many lay people took up this practice of the Asubha meditation. When I was living in Sri Lanka, I was living in a place called the Forest Hermitage, which is in the forest called Udavatakeli. And at the edge of that forest, there was a large monastery called Dalita Tapovana. And on the Uposatha days, the full moon days, many lay people would go there for meditation. And I would always hear, when I'm passing by, the monk conducting the meditation, reciting Kesa Loma Naka Danta Tacho, like those are the parts of the body. Okay, so the way this meditation is practiced is by going through the body by way of 32 constituents. I prepared anatomical diagrams. If we were to go through them all thoroughly, this would turn into a course in anatomy. But maybe just take a look at some of the more revealing diagrams. I think I have to take each one individually. That would take time. We'll just focus on the diagram that shows the internal organs. Is this visible? No? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, this is the way I do it. Okay, so let me first go through the 32 parts. Let me see if I could It's not much better. Okay, so first I'm going to run through the 32 parts. So the first 5 parts are external parts. This is head of the hair. And even though people pride themselves on their beautiful hair, but if you sort of clip the hair off and put it on the table, and then you look at it, is it very beautiful and attractive? No, it's just strands of hair. So we have hair of the head, hair of the body, you have a little light hair on the arms, hair underarms, men have whiskers, and so on. So bodily hairs, nails, fingernails and toenails, teeth, and skin. And what's quite remarkable when you think about it, when you look at another person, what you see of their body are really those 5 things, and maybe the eyes. Okay, so then continuing, now we start going beneath the skin. Then we have the flesh or the muscles. So we see some of the muscles here. Then we have muscles, the sinews. The sinews are the strips, tough strips which bind the bones together and which bind the bones and the muscles. So sinews, muscles, sinews, bone. Yeah, then we go to the bones, in other words, the skeleton, and then the bone marrow. So that is the next, I put them into groups. So muscles, sinews, bones, bone marrow. And then I put into this group, to even out the number 5, I put the brain in. In the traditional list, the brain was put after feces. And people always think, do the Buddhists value the brain less than feces? So I put the brain in after the bone marrow. Okay, then the next group, now we start going into the internal organs. We have the kidneys, heart. We don't get such a good view of the heart here. I'll come back to another diagram, which is better. Then the liver, then the diaphragm, diaphragm, spleen, and lungs. So that's the next group. Again, kidneys, heart, liver, diaphragm, spleen, and lungs. Then the next group, we have the stomach. You see the stomach here. Then the intestines, long intestine, the large intestine, small intestine. And then there's a tissue called mesentery, which ties the small intestine holds the small intestine in place. We don't see it in this diagram. When we're going through the parts, if certain parts are not clear to you, don't worry about it. Just get as vague idea as you can and just wait till I mention the next part. Okay, so in this group we have large intestine, small intestine, mesentery, then the stomach, and the feces. The feces collects in the lower part of the large intestine, in the colon. Then come the fluids of the body. So the fluids bile, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, and fat. So that's one group of the fluids. And then the next group, tears, then the oil of the skin, saliva, nasal mucus, the fluid of the joints. There's a fluid that enables us to bend our arms and the legs. So that fluid is between the joints. We just call it fluid of the joints. And then urine. So those are the 32 parts. Let's look at another diagram which shows them all in place. It is showing. I don't have to close and. Yeah, this is a good one because you could see the muscles here. And we don't see the sinews, but then we see the bones. Of course, you can see the bone marrow. And then I believe this is the heart and the lungs. No, this is I'm sorry. Any medical people here? I think this is the liver. Yeah, this is the liver. The heart must be not visible. Liver. Okay, this is the large intestine, small intestine. Yeah, this has the advantage of drawing in some of the organs that are not immediately visible. Okay, so here you see the heart, and it has labels, so I don't have to be embarrassed. Okay, so we have the lungs here, the heart, the liver. The kidneys are towards the back. They're shaped like kidney beans. That's why they call them kidney beans. So two of them are in the back. And you see the liver is a large organ with two components. And the spleen, you see here, large intestine and small intestine. And then the diaphragm is here, separating the chest from the abdomen. Okay, so that's just a quick run through through the 32 parts. Let's see if we could get a good view just of the skeleton. We don't have to specifically designate the individual bones, but you just get a visual impression of the skeleton. And in the horror films, you always see the skeleton comes walking into the room, and everybody gets frightened, like there's never been a skeleton any place before. But right in this meditation hall, there's something like 50 skeletons. So if we use some kind of X-ray machine, then that would eliminate the fleshly exteriors and just highlight the skeletons. We would all be horrified to see that we're sitting in a room filled with skeletons, but it's just the people. Okay, so let us now develop this practice now systematically. And the way we do this is we go slowly through the 32 parts, broken into different groups. And the way I go through each group, I go With each group, I go from the first one to the last one, then from the last one back to the first one, then from the first one to the last one in that group, and then continue into the next group, from the first to the last in that group, then back to the first in this group, then back to the last, and then on to the next group. So that way we go through each group, forward order, back order, front order, and on to the next group. Okay, so we can lower the lights. Should we leave the skeleton showing, or should I close it? Okay. But maybe everybody knows the skeleton. Maybe we will take the one with the many organs. No. Okay, I give up. Okay, so we'll just do it without having the diagram. Okay, so take a comfortable sitting position. And then settle into the felt sense of the body in the present. And then we bring the body to mind, the entire body we bring to mind. You sort of scan the body from the top of the head down through the whole body, right to the soles of the feet. And then you mentally scan the body again, going up from the soles of the feet, up to the top of the head, and then you contemplate that there is this body bounded by skin. And this is what I identify as my body. Now, in this body, there are the following constituents. There are hairs of the head. And each time I mention the constituent, you apply it to your own body, not just thinking of it, but really trying to almost feel tangibly the presence of that constituent in the body. So there's hairs of the head, hairs of the body, there's nails, fingernails, and toenails. There are teeth, and there is skin, layer of skin. Then we go back. In this body, there is skin, teeth, teeth, nails, fingernails and toenails, hairs of the body, hairs of the head, then we go in forward order. In this body, there are hairs of the head, hairs of the body, there are nails, there's teeth, and skin, covering this entire body. And we go to the next group. Beneath the skin, there is flesh, or muscles. There are sinews, tough rope-like tissue binding the bones together and connecting the bones to the flesh, or the flesh to the bones. So sinews. Then there's bones, the skeleton from the skull, neck bone, jawbone, neck bones, the rib cage, the spinal column, the entire structure of bones. And inside the bones, there is bone marrow, and then the brain. And in reverse order, we have the brain, bone marrow, bones, sinews, and muscles. Then we go in forward order again. In this body, as we go beneath the skin, there is muscle, there are sinews, there are bones, bone marrow, bone marrow, and the brain. Brain. Okay, then we go to the next group. In this body, there are kidneys, kidneys, there is the heart, the heart, there is the liver, liver, the large organ on the right side, liver, then the diaphragm, diaphragm, then the spleen, spleen, and the lungs, lungs. Then in reverse, the lungs, spleen, the diaphragm, diaphragm, liver, liver, heart, heart, kidneys, kidneys. In this body, there are kidneys, heart, liver, liver, diaphragm, diaphragm, the spleen, spleen, and lungs, lungs. Now to the next group. In this body, there are the intestines, large intestine, small intestine, there is mesentery, the tough tissue holding the intestines in place. Mesentery, stomach, stomach, and then fecal matter, feces. And then we go in reverse. There's feces, stomach, mesentery, and the intestines, small intestine and large intestine, right here in this body. And in this body, there are the intestines, large intestine, small intestine, there's mesentery, stomach, stomach, and feces, feces. And now we come to the fluids of the body. In this body, there is bile. Bile, it's a fluid, a liquid produced by the liver, injected into the small intestine to help with the digestion of fats. and then it's stored in the gallbladder. It's the kind of greenish, thick greenish fluid. So that's bile, then phlegm, pus, blood, running throughout the entire body. Sweat, and fat. And we take it in reverse. There is fat, sweat, blood, pus, phlegm, and bile. And in this body there is bile, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, and fat. And then to the next group. In this body there are tears. That is the fluid that moistens the eyes, the surface of the eyes. There is the oil of the skin. There is saliva, saliva. Nasal mucus, nasal mucus. Fluid of the joints, fluid of the joints. And urine, urine. And we go back. There's urine, urine. Fluid of the joints. Nasal mucus, nasal mucus. Saliva, saliva. Oil of the skin. And tears, tears. And in forward order, in this body there are tears, oil of the skin, saliva, nasal mucus, nasal mucus, oil of the, or fluid of the joints, fluid of the joints, and urine, urine. So those are the 32 constituents of the body. And now again, you go back to the sense of the body as a composite whole in the present. And then you scan the body from the top of the head down to the soles of the feet. And then move the attention from the soles of the feet up through the entire body to the top of the head, bounded by skin. And then just dwell for a couple of minutes silently in the understanding that this is the nature of this body. Okay, now you can let go of all thought formations, mental fabrications, and bring the mind back to the breath. Take a couple of mindful breaths in and out, in and out. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes, relax the sitting position, and then end the session by rubbing the palms together. Okay, we'll do a period of walking meditation now. Maybe we could do a little experiment. I don't think I've done this before, but we could try this. If it doesn't agree with you, you can just go back to the mindful walking of right step, left step, right step, left step. But if you want to join me on this experiment, what we do when doing the walking, you walk fairly slowly, moderately slowly, contemplating muscles and bones walking. Muscles and bones walking. Don't try to go into all the organs, heart, liver, spleen, and so on. Just enough muscles, this combination of muscles and bones walking. Try it and see if you get some benefit from it, continue. If not, then just do the mindful right step, mindful left step. It'll be an experiment for me too. I don't think I've done it this way before. Okay. Okay, so we can get up and everybody can choose their walking place. Oh, I see. Yeah, the time. Yeah. Okay, let's say it's 8:00 now. We'll do this. Be in your seat by 8:30. Then we'll have a short second period of contemplation of the body. And I'll show you then a compressed way of doing the parts of the body. Okay, testing, testing. And maybe this fan can be turned off, at least not facing, not blowing towards me. It's too much wind. Okay. Okay, now we'll, ready? Yeah, we could turn the lights off, but just leave that light. Okay, so this will be what I call the condensed or short method of doing the meditation on the parts of a body. So the way we do it is we just start with skin, then from skin to muscles, and muscles to bones, the skeleton, and then collectively you take the internal organs. And then this is going to be silent meditation, not guided. So you could, if you want, you can choose a few organs. For example, you might go brain, heart, lungs, stomach, intestines. You choose whatever organs you want to focus on, but just go through them. And then the last is to represent the liquid component, blood. And then you go backwards, blood, internal organs, whichever ones you choose, but just choose 3 or 4. Don't have to go through the whole list. So blood, internal organs, bones, muscles, skin. And then forward, skin, muscles, bones, internal organs, your choice. End with blood, and then backwards from blood back to skin. Any questions about that method? Actually, I asked Jason to turn off the lights too soon, so if anybody has any question, I can't see a hand. Maybe just flip the light. Any questions about that method? Okay, I see one hand.
Are we supposed to say when we talk about the skin, the neck, like to really feel those part of the body?
Are we really supposed to what?
Feel the
To feel
part
those
of the
parts.
body. Yeah.
You know, it's really difficult to actually feel in the concrete way those parts, but what you do is sort of get a strong sense of those parts being within your own body.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, I don't see any other questions, so let us turn the light out. Oh, somebody has, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, this is Rhonda.
Yes,
You unmute.
I did unmute. Mute audio. Am I on now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Is it okay just to do Kesaloma Dakananta Danta Chacho? Or would you, and then backwards? Or would you prefer the whole body? Doing,
You want to do it that way, you do it that way.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, she mentioned what are the 5 parts, the 5 external parts, and those are the parts that are taught to novice monastics when they're ordained. They get hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin. So she wants to do it that way, but we'll do it the way I explained of skin, muscles, bones, a few internal organs, then blood, and then back from blood to skin, and then forward. Okay, we'll do it in silence for about 20 minutes. I'll just hit the gong to signal beginning. I'll use the timer. Okay, you can relax the body now. And we will end the day's session with the sharing dedication of the merits. And so we bring to mind first all of all of the mountains of merit that we've acquired through very diligent practice, especially the loving kindness meditation. The Buddha says that whatever mundane acts of merit there are, the practice of the loving kindness meditation surpasses them all, just as the light of the moon outshines the light of the other stars. And so we've done a full day of the loving kindness meditation. And then the evening we've done the Asubha meditation. And then we've listened to Dhamma, discussed Dhamma. And so we take all of these merits like a very bright light, and we spread the light of these merits over the world with loving kindness, accompanied by the wish that people everywhere will emerge from suffering and misery, that all conflicts and violence and hatred can be resolved, and that people in this world can live together peacefully, harmoniously, and also live in harmony with the natural environment and with other living beings, especially the animals and birds, all of which, through our foolishness, we've been destroying at a disastrous rate. Okay, so we take this merit and then we're going to dedicate or share the merit with the devas, the nagas, asking them to protect the sasana, to protect the teaching of the Dhamma, and to protect ourselves and others. So we can recite Akasata cha bhumata Devanaga Mahedika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Sasanang Akasata cha bhumata Devanaga Mahedika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Desanam Akasata cha bhumata Devanaga Mahedika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Mang Parang. So keep on going. That's it. Dukha pata cha nidukha Baya pata cha nibaya Soka pata cha nisoka Antu sabepi panino. May those who suffer be free from suffering. Know those who fear be free from fear. May those who sorrow be free from sorrow. May all living beings also be thus. Okay, and then we could end the day with 3 full formal bows.
First bow. Half a bow. Bow to Bante.
Okay, so that is it for the day. And so good night, everybody, and please have a nice rest tonight. And we'll be back in back in action tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Good to have you, Bhante.
Good luck.
Thank you very much,
Well,
Bhante.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Bhante.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good night. Okay, I'll leave Jason. You can close up.